There are few things quite as iconic in Fallout New Vegas as the NCR Ranger. Pretty much the bona fide symbol of the game, as it's on the cover as well as the title screen, it's pretty much given that it's the icon for Fallout New Vegas. That's why today I wanted to pay a little homage to the NCR Ranger and ask if you can beat Fallout New Vegas as an NCR Ranger. Obviously, the first thing I need to do is make a character. I went with something that kind of reminds me of what I think a NCR Ranger would look like, and then started assigning special stats. I pretty much just evenly distributed everything right now because I kind of needed it all for the most part. For tag skills, I went with medicine, speech, and guns, for, well, obvious reasons. Traits were just good-natured and skilled, because I kind of needed a boost in speech right at the beginning, because this run is basically going to be side quests the game. After buying a whole bunch of stuff from Doc Mitchell, I headed out on my adventure. Now, I can't really do a whole lot right now. I don't have the NCR Ranger armor, I don't have any of their weapons, so I'm kind of at an impasse. That's why I'm going to quickly go over the rules for this run. I can't start doing any of the main quests until I've already dealt with and gotten my gear that I need from the NCR. That being anything that the NCR Rangers use for weapons. Pretty much anything that's standard issue for the NCR works, but I'm mostly going to be focusing on the brush gun, medicine stick, or the Ranger Sequoia for this run. First things first, I need to head over to the Mojave Outpost and get some side quests from Ranger Jackson so that I can obviously start getting some NCR rep. In order for me to actually get the NCR combat armor without killing a Ranger, which kind of defeats the purpose of the run, and I can't really kill anything anyways for right now, I just had to get my reputation all the way up to liked, which meant that I was going to be doing a shit ton of NCR side quests since I'm not going to be starting the main NCR quest until I've already gotten all of my gear. Anyways, after doing some side quests at the Mojave Outpost and picking up a nice service rifle with a bit of AP rounds, I wasted pretty much half my ammo on some powder gangers and then wasted the rest on Tabitha. I figured it was, well, a worthwhile price to pay for a couple levels early on so that I could bump my speech level and my medicine level up to where I needed it for the side quests that I was going to be doing. First place that I wanted to go was Camp Golf. A lot of these side quests are actually my first time doing them, which actually made this run fairly fun for me, as I'm seeing a lot of content that I've either never done, or it's been so long since I've done it that it's pretty fresh in my mind, because all of this is stuff that I never really do. The main reason I wanted to come to Camp Golf first, however, is because you can pickpocket a Ranger Sequoia off of Chief Hanlon, which is absolutely busted. This thing is a fantastic weapon, and while I didn't really have much in the way of ammo for it, at the very least, I now had a weapon that I could use, so I was super ecstatic. This made a couple of the side quests actually possible now. I could start doing things like the Fiend bounties, or, this side quest where I have to kill one of the Great Khans that's assaulting people at Bitter Springs. After that, I just did some more things like helping around. A lot of these side quests are pretty tedious, and a lot of them are just a lot of dialogue, so I'm not going to go over every single side quest that I did, but I did a whole lot. I mean, shit, I was like level 13 before I started the main quest, so there was a whole lot of side quests involved before I really started this run. Anyways, I also decided that I was going to go over and do the Powder Ganger side quest, because that, gave me NCR fame if I just betrayed them in the end, which of course I was going to do, because it doesn't really make sense for an NCR Ranger to side with literal criminals. After talking to the lieutenant and letting him know that I was willing to help deal with the powder gangers, that's exactly what I did. I went off and slaughtered them all, Eddie included, so that I could get the NCR fame from this quest. Once that was done, I headed off to Boulder City, because there was a little bit more fame to be gained here by dealing with the Great Khans and freeing the hostages, especially peacefully. I'm not sure if this boosts anything really on the fame side. I don't know the exact inner workings of that, but I wanted to deal with the Great Khans peacefully later on, so I figured not slaughtering them at, Boulder City would be a fantastic idea. After this, I went back to Bitter Springs and did a couple more quests around there, looking for supplies and helping out, before going off and just dealing with more stuff. Once the Bitter Springs was all done, for the most part, and things that I could handle anyways, I decided to change things up for a little bit and go deal with the Fiends and start collecting some bounties there, because I kinda wanted to just stop doing dialogue-based side quests for a little bit, or fetch quests, and this was a nice change of pace. Pretty much everything here went smoothly. Cook, got executed by his own men after I killed his pet Brahmin, which, didn't get me the full bounty for his head, but I don't really care. After that, I went and dealt with Violet and her dogs, which were kind of a pain in the ass since I have a revolver with not a lot of ammo, which was kind of sad, but, can't go on too big of a murder spree this run since I'm supposed to be a good guy. Don't worry, we'll fix that part later. I had a couple accidental deaths because I walked too close to the NCR at Helios 1 while trying to do, yet again, another fetch quest. Did have to boop some Legionnaires in the head with revolver rounds from the Ranger Sequoia while picking up some supplies, and then did some medical work for Dr. Richards back in, I think, Camp Forlorn Hope. I honestly don't remember where I was. It's been so long since I recorded this initial side quest part of this run, and then dealt with a lot of stuff after that, and then, the main quest on top of it, so it's kind of a bit rough on the memory for this run in particular. Anyways, I did liberate Nelson from all of the Legion there, which wasn't too difficult. I mean, the Ranger Sequoia is just an overpowered ass pistol. And eventually, I finally got my prized possession, that being the key to the Ranger safe house, which meant that I could go pick up the NCR combat armor, and finally actually start doing the main quest for this run. With that being done, I did end up gambling in the strip for a while, although I did execute Old Ben on my way in. I figure if I can't execute the Kings, I might as well execute him still. I wanted to gamble when I got to the strip because I absolutely was going to be buying the medicine stick this run, so I did that while dealing with all of the, strip introduction quests, that being dealing with Benny and meeting Mr. House and all that. I opted to go for the peaceful route with Benny at first, and then I decided, you know what, nah, let's just murder him and his bodyguards. His bodyguards are kind of pieces of shit anyways, so is Vulpes, so that's why I put a bullet in his head immediately. Plus, NCR Ranger, so it kind of makes sense to kill a Legionnaire on sight. But before I did all my gambling, I decided that I was going to go deal with the boomers first, and I figured, I'd been a good enough person for the most part on this run that I could warrant just outright slaughtering them. I figured that the boomers wouldn't really be too happy, in my head anyways, if I just sent a literal military diplomat into their camp. I figured they wouldn't willingly work with the NCR if I was actually part of the NCR, so, that was kind of my reasoning for just murdering them. In Freeside, working with the King, I opted to just handle everything with the NCR there peacefully because 1, it makes sense for me to do that, and 2, I figured that I would, try to peacefully resolve things with as many factions for the NCR as I could. One of the factions that I was not going to be doing that with, however, is the Brotherhood. We'll get to them later, though. Anyways, after turning in the quests with Ambassador Crocker, I could finally get back to the King and pick up my favor, because obviously they don't let you just take that as a favor. It'd be kind of weird if you just asked the King to stop violence on NCR citizens without any prior knowledge of violence against NCR citizens. Also, I did, go kill Mr. House because he needed to be out of the picture later on. I went back to Cassandra Moore so that I could actually start dealing with those parts of the quest, which meant that it was time to deal with the Great Khans, and since I had been peaceful with them earlier, I could actually deal with them diplomatically and not just slaughter all of them. This, again, was just basically more dialogue and propaganda spreading, so there wasn't a whole lot interesting that went on here. I didn't really have to kill anybody or do anything special, so I just went around, talked to the people that I needed to talk to, and then convinced Papa Khan to leave the Mojave. Now, I'm not entirely sure why, but when I got to the second battle of Hoover Dam, the Khans were there and hostile towards me, and I don't know if it's just because I had the NCR combat armor on, or if it was just a glitch or something, since I'd already resolved things with them in the NCR, but that brings us to, of course, the Brotherhood. The Brotherhood, being the Brotherhood, were usually a pain in my ass. This run was, however, actually very simple because I had the medicine stick and a Ranger Sequoia with pretty damn strong armor. Now, I know some of you are probably questioning why I didn't go to Lonesome Road and just buy the Elite Riot gear there from the terminal, and I think that kind of constitutes as cheating, because it really brought more depth to this run if I had to actually go out of my way and do all of those NCR side quests to build up my reputation with them, as if I was indoctrinating myself into the NCR, so that's kind of my reasoning for doing that. So that's pretty much my explanation for why I didn't just go bum a, OP suit of armor at level 1 from the DLC. Anyways, moving on to my least favorite quest in the NCR questline, which was made even more annoying by the fact that it broke on me multiple times. See, this run, normally, in any NCR run, not just this one specifically, but this quest rather, is generally very simple. You go pick up the detonator off of the engineer, you find the bomb on the president's vertibird, or you stop an assassination attempt on him by killing this specific legionnaire disguised as a ranger. So, with that being done, I had absolutely no way of actually making the quest, progress to save the president. I sat here for about half an hour, listening to the speech fully, trying different routes to get the president back on the vertibird, and eventually the solution, before I opted to deal with console commands, was to just piss off that one engineer by confronting him, and then the vertibird left immediately. After that, I got to talk to President Oliver, and then just go into the dam and start dealing with the Legionnaires for the second battle of Hoover Dam. I was absolutely ecstatic to finally be off of that dam quest and just go deal with this part of the game. I don't actually like being in the dam. I don't know why, but I get lost in here so often, so this part is actually probably one of the more annoying parts of a playthrough for me anytime that I have to be in the dam. So once I can get outside and start just, fighting people and slaughtering everyone mindlessly, it's a lot better for me. Although I did try to save as many of the NCR troops as I could during the course of my angered murder rampage towards the Legates camp. For some reason, though, none of them decided to come in with me. I'm not sure why. Usually when I do an NCR playthrough, the Rangers send one in with me. Obviously, there's these ones that show up when you go to confront the Legate, but usually they send an actual NCR Ranger in with me. Either that or I'm just misremembering really hard. Also, this is probably one of the fastest times I've ever dealt with the Legate in specific, not including runs where I've had something really overpowered like Annabelle, or just a really stupidly overpowered weapon like the anti-material rifle. But General Oliver arrived after I'd cleared out everyone, including the Legate, and that was that. I beat Fallout New Vegas as an NCR Ranger. This pretty much just sets me up for the Fallout 4 run that I'm going to be doing in the future with this specific challenge, because I have a couple mods for Fallout 4 that allow this to be possible. I know modded runs aren't necessarily the most popular thing, but it sounds like a fun challenge and I want to do it. Anyways, I appreciate you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, leave suggestions down in the comments below. I love reading through your guys' ideas and seeing what you want me to torture myself with. Sometimes the ideas are so disastrously good that I wonder how I never thought of it myself. Anyways, I appreciate each and every one of you for showing support to the channel. You guys are all amazing, and I hope you're all having a wonderful rest of your day.